And gentlemen, I came across an article from the Auditor General. And just for a quick backstory, you remember that the Auditor General came under attack from Andrew Holness and his government, especially Andrew Holness personally, because he made a statement publicly, basically calling her out as if she was incompetent, right? There was a meeting in the Senate that I did not cover, but I watched parts of it where she was explaining her position and what she actually said about the funds that are unaccounted for. That is the word, because the accountants cannot account with the proper paperwork for where the monies went and how it was spent. This is Jamaican tax dollars, so the amount and the figure was in the trillions. And you know, social media went wild. I myself, I was a part of that wildness. I have to say, it was definitely something that I thought was quite appalling, that we had a government operating and trillions of our dollars, our tax dollars, could not be accounted for. So in this article yesterday, Auditor General threatens to surcharge accounting officers at municipal cooperation. I have not read this article. I don't know what it's going to say. Let's get into the article. This is a raw reaction. Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis is threatening to surcharge the accounting officers for the municipal cooperation if they persist in failing to get their accounts in order. About goddamn time. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, shout out to her. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go to Google. What does surcharge mean? Surcharge mean an additional charge or payment. A mark printed on postage stamp changing its value. Exact an additional charge of payment from. So, let's go back to what he said here. She is threatening to surcharge the accounting officers of the municipalities if they persist in failing to get their accounts in order. So, does the Auditor General have the power to sanction them monetarily? Interesting. How much money we're actually talking about? Let's continue. The threat comes as the majority of the corporations have been found to have their financial statements years behind. Let's listen to the audio.
In the Auditor General's annual report for 2024, 10 of the 14 municipal corporations were flagged for accounting concerns. Chief among them was a lack of sufficient appropriate audit evidence. At Tuesday's meeting of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, PAC, lawmakers questioned Pamela Monroe Ellis why no punitive action has been taken. The Auditor General says the nature by which the accounting officers should be held responsible is a surcharge. However, Mrs. Monroe Ellis says thus far that recommendation has not been made because many of the issues fall outside the allowable period.
There is an avenue to hold accounting and accountable officers to account through the surcharge procedure of the FAA Act. The FAA Act has a timeline on the period within which a surcharge proceeding can be instituted. It has to be 3 years. And the only reason I've not made any recommendation to the Ministry, to the Financial Secretary for surcharge is because the years that we are dealing with here falls outside. Now, this is one of the dangers of not submitting statements on time, because the time elapses and we cannot hold to account those who we should be holding to account.
She told the PAC that she's given a stern warning to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Law.
Hold on, I have to listen to what you just said again. This is key.
And accountable officers to account.
as many of the issues fall outside the allowable period.
There is an avenue to hold accounting and accountable officers to account through the surcharge procedure of the FAA Act. The FAA Act has a timeline on the period within which a surcharge proceeding can be instituted. It has to be 3 years. And the only reason I've not made any recommendation to the ministry, to the financial secretary for surcharge, is because the years that we are dealing with here falls outside. No, this is one of the dangers of not submitting statements on time, because the time elapses and we cannot hold to account those who we should be holding to account.
Wait a minute. So she's saying that the time has passed over 3 years, so the individuals cannot be held into account? Am I understanding that correctly? That's very interesting. I really have to go back to that.
She told the PAC that she's given a stern warning to the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Local Government, Marsha Henry Martin.
I did in a meeting with the permanent secretary once, and I'm sure I may have written it to say that the moment I can recommend that surcharge, once we're within that 3-year period, I am going to make that recommendation. And I think that should go for all accounting officers, because it is true for the appropriation accounts as well. The law is very clear on that, and it does not give the Auditor General an option. It says the Auditor General shall, so it's not that I, at my discretion, determine whether I should report this municipal corporation versus another, no, or any other entity. It says the Auditor General shall.
Okay, so that eliminates the accusations that the Jamaica Labour Party, led by the statements that was made by Andrew Honest. Andrew Honest and his party was trying to suggest through their dialogue or response to the Auditor General that somehow, they are being targeted, and she's incompetent and all of these things. Well, she's saying that based off the rules of the Auditor General is that it doesn't matter which party it is, it doesn't matter which government it is, her job is to ensure that, these situations are reported. So, hey, this gives a lot of clarity to me, and I'm sure it will give a lot of clarity for those who don't know. Let's continue.
Once it says he is unable to account for the expenditure.
The various municipal corporations say they're moving to bring their books up to date through the rollout of a unified information technology system. However, Mrs. Monroe Ellis says this will not be enough to ensure proper compliance.
We have to also
So they want to make it be, they want to blame it on the recording system, ladies and gentlemen. They want to blame it on, we don't have a proper recording system, and we're going to implement one. And the Auditor General is saying they cannot wait on that. There are ways to do it, right? It's just they have to make some effort. I believe there is not enough effort to do the accounting, because in my opinion they are doing some funny stuff. Yes, I believe that they are doing some funny stuff, and the reason why I believe that they are doing some funny stuff, ladies and gentlemen, is because none of the people that is represented in the Jamaica Labour Party has signed the Code of Conduct, and the Code of Conduct is a document that can be used against them in the court of law. You understand that? Foul of the Code of Conduct can be used against them in the court of law. It is my belief that they are doing funny business. Anytime you see money floating around and it's not properly accounted for, mark my words, 99% of the time, some funny business, somebody is allegedly dipping in that cookie jar. Alright, because these trillions of dollars, you feel like human beings are not going to try something. They are human beings. That's why you have to have the proper accounting. to make sure that we can say, well, here we go, our integrity is intact and we have not misused the public funds. But they have been lacking on this part of their responsibility for years. And I'm happy that they attacked the Auditor General, because now, if the Auditor General had given them any grace, she will not give them no more grace. Some have to pull up them sacks, and I hope God protect that woman. You understand? Or anybody that is in her position, so she can operate with integrity. Let's continue.
Consider the real issues in terms of how the municipal corporations, how the accounting staff account for the information, completing a cash book, having evidence of the journal entries made, having securing payment vouchers. We see where payment vouchers, the explanation given, they got wet. Hurricane come, they got wet. They never secured them. And when they are returned, one complained that the records were sequestered. When they were returned, then they became infested. Rats.
Oh, so they're saying that she's saying that they made a lot of excuses about those records that are written down. Rat eat them, the rain fall on them. Oh man, these people think we are slow, bro. What?
Hey, who mess is this?
Yo, this labor right government think we slow.
Who mess is this?
Stop lying!
They full of shit. My bad, y'all.
Lying!
What?
Stop lying.
Listen to this.
How the accounting staff account for the information, completing a cash book, having evidence of the journal entries made, having securing payment vouchers. We see where payment vouchers, the explanation given, they got wet. Hurricane come, they got wet. They never secured them. And when they are returned, one complained that the records were sequestered. When they were returned, then they became infested. Rats and other pests, wreak havoc on it. We have to.
So you're telling me that these people, important documents, they're telling us that rats bite them up. So you telling me that you guys don't have a vault where you keep these important documents?
Help, we hear the
We
Bvrfam.
need your divine intervention. We're tired of the labor right. We're tired of the green people. We are so far. We can't take it no more. We need this. We need this. We need it. Help. Help. Jesus.
Whoa, we need help, Jesus!
Strength is a liberator.
No, sir.
Now consider how we go about securing the accounting record. And whereas the IT system should help with the efficiency, if those fundamental issues are not addressed, what we're going to hear down the line is that the IT system failed.
Shalom.
Oh my God, shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Hello? You hear what she said? The fundamentals. I want you guys to pay attention to what you just said a while ago, this last part. Listen to this.
How we go about securing the accounting record. And we have to now consider how we go about securing the accounting record. And whereas the IT system should help with the efficiency, if those fundamental issues are not addressed, what we're going to hear down the line is that the IT system failed.
Shalois, Mike.
So, the excuses, the explanations, whatever you want to call it, that the Jamaica Labour Party is giving in regards to the documentation of how these monies are spent. Rat bite them up, rain wet them up, it get compromised, all of these things. She's saying that even with a digital system, which that she's talking about your computer, logging everything into the computer. She's saying if the fundamental issues are not fixed, even with a digital system, when it comes to accounting, you still need to use an analog system. You cannot, analog cannot be thrown away. Digital is easy to manipulate. So what she said right here is that, hear this?
System should help with the efficiency, if those fundamental issues are not addressed. What we're going to hear down the line is that the IT system failed.
So we're going to hear down the line as an explanation to not give the proper documentation that the IT system failed. Alright? No accountability. We're dealing with a government with no accountability, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to find a way, allegedly, I think I snap, and according to the beautiful Miss Pamela Monroe, I don't know if it's Miss or Mrs. I see is there a ring on the finger. Either way, respect to you, ma'am. According to her, what we're gonna hear down the line for not giving the proper accounting of our tax dollars being spent, ladies and gentlemen, is that the IT system is not working. The system is down. There's a problem, and we don't have the right technicians. We're trying to get somebody from overseas. A bunch of excuse. It is going to be easier to hide corruption if there's any theft going on with a digital system. The analog system has to be maintained. They need to properly store these things. They need to have a team of people doing it. All right. This is. Hey, I'm telling you, man. Y'all better pay attention to this. This is serious.
There is an avenue to hold accounting and accountable officers to account through the surcharge procedure of the FAA Act. The FAA Act has a...
We need to research the FAA Act. Let me see this part.
We have to also consider the real issues in terms of how the municipal corporations, how the accounting staff account for the information, completing a cash book, having evidence of the journal entries made, having securing payment vouchers. We see where payment vouchers, the explanation given, they got wet. Hurricane come, they got wet. They never secured them. And
okay, that is a repeat of what was said before. All right, man. Shout out to the Auditor General, man, laying down the law and letting us know what time it is, man. Yeah. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to be more actively involved in our politics here in Jamaica. It took me too long to realize this, and I'm telling you, it is quite serious. It is quite serious. Trillions of dollars are unaccounted for because these rat bite up documents got wet and was compromised. All of these excuses, right? So you can't outright point to somebody and say you were stealing any money. Oh, it's just plausible deniability, you know. Hey, what can we do? Type of vibe. We need people that we can trust, and I don't trust none of the Jamaica Labour Party members or anybody that works for Andronis. I just don't, personally. That's just me. Tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Let's